Well, I'm here to tell you probably everything that you know, so I'm sure that my point here is probably just to validate some of the things that you're thinking. First of all, my name is Ken Marks. I'm the National Sales Manager for our Retail Printing Solutions Group. I live in New York City. They're based in Rochester, and I'd rather keep it that way. I love Rochester. It's a nice place. And I want to certainly thank AIA to give us an opportunity to speak for 10 minutes, and I'm not going to spend it doing this, except for one thing. Normally, and I don't know if you've ever met him or not, but Ed Monahan would be delivering this message. And unfortunately, we are also in the middle of some strategic planning in Rochester, so he couldn't make it. Personally, I really think it was the fact that he wouldn't know what to do if he had to speak in 10 minutes, frankly. So, appreciate that. A lot of our focus these days are on looking at the current buying patterns of consumers, including the generations X, Y, Z, but certainly the last generations that changed the rules. And let me give you a personal example of what happened, not really related to photography, but related to the way that they think. Of course, last Sunday in the U.S. being Father's Day, my two children who live out of town, one in Houston and one in St. Louis, it's Father's Day. You're waiting for your happy Father's Day, regardless how it comes. Well, maybe. My son, who is firmly planted in the middle of Gen Y, actually called using the cell phone that I still pay for, obviously. And my daughter, who is the youngest, sent me a text message. So, sign of the times. At least you got it, right? But we'll get back to that group in a minute. I will be brief. I'm going to be very, very high level. Ed gave me at least 300 slides, and I've got it down to 7. And some of his talking points I had to change around because Ed talks on a different level, and I think he writes half of what he says twice as much as he writes. But it wouldn't be fair just to give you a vision unless we discussed what we consider the 3 product categories of the marketplace, and that's certainly the concept of prints, pages, and screens. For those who attend the DP2 workshop every June in Rochester, you should be familiar with that term. We debuted it 2 years ago at the workshop, but I'll explain it briefly in a second. And when I say prints obviously are silver halide-based prints, and obviously they still remain a vital part of our consumers' consumers' memories. There it is. They hold utility, they don't require translation, they don't turn off, and they are not at risk of technical obsolescence. At least the end product isn't. The group of manufacturers, and really they are the labs that do the work, the professional and consumer photo labs, are dedicated, really dedicated to this technology, and have created exciting new products that over and over again reinvent that product line. And the print seems to live a new life every single year, and we seem to hold on to sales, and they seem to be neutral, and we're happy, and everybody's happy. This year, however, it probably looks like it's going to be the first year we have a little decline after 10 years of digital growth, not overall category growth, but digital paper growth. That's not bad. You don't like to see it go backwards, but it's still, it marks a kind of you don't know what's going to happen next after that. Oh, I don't know why it did this. So let me go to the next one. There we go. And here's the phenomenon. What started off to be the complement to the print has now emerged to be the biggest growth opportunity, at least in today's professional and consumer photo markets. Pages or press products can produce a wide variety of profitable imaging solutions, such as photo books, calendars, cards, marketing collateral, and with the right media, like our new Endura EPD and EPL, you can produce a photo quality print on a wide variety of printers such as the Kodak Nexpress and HP Indigo and many others. Press products, specifically photo books, appeal to today's generation of purchasers because of its ability to utilize user-generated content from online communities and social networks to create memories, event keepsakes, Manufacturing these products are no problem these days for the photo service provider because with today's technology, it's as easy to create one as it is to create 100. There we go. And last, but certainly not least, we look at screens as the cornerstone of the image ecosystem. With screens, you get unparalleled utility. It's open anytime and anywhere. It can allow for convergence of media, meaning music and video, and in most cases, it offers unlimited storage. It provides a revenue stream via membership or subscription rather than transactional. And it is a centerpiece both socially and economically for the new generation of buyers. The recent announcement of iCloud validated this if Facebook hasn't already. We at Kodak believe photo publishing, photo books as a category will continue to grow, and why not? It serves the consumer's need for personalization, storytelling, and a sense of community. It also provides the service provider or the commercial or the portrait lab, consumer lab, an opportunity to create additional revenue generating products. However, there are downsides, and I think the panel kind of touched upon them a little bit, especially to the people who are producing these books and press products. It requires a lot of additional capital investment, and in some cases, a lot more than their previous purchases ever were in total. And money these days is certainly not hard to get, or not easy to get, because it's certainly not as available as it was 10 years ago. And there's also the work that needs to go into building awareness of the category itself, and at the same time trying to find innovative ways to decrease the rate of book abandonment or books that are started but not finished. So there's a lot just going in and getting into a photo book, but I think Philip said it very good. If you don't have the market in your hands, it's an awfully expensive endeavor to go out and create. The put through for just to turn on that machine every morning is very expensive. So, and it was well said, by the way. We look at it that the consumer will certainly continue to memorialize life and life's events, but a lot has changed. Mobile capture is increasing at the same rate as digital camera capture is decreasing. That doesn't tell the entire story. Most mobile captured images never make it to a social network or a printer. However, it does get captured. Most of the images currently stored on a variety of platforms, off and online, are from the digital camera. And images are shared more than ever through the rise of social networks like Facebook. For example, in an average month, 60 billion photos are stored. And this is worldwide, by the way. 60 billion images are stored by Facebook. 3 billion are uploaded, and 10 trillion are viewed at least once on a worldwide basis. Now, remember what I said earlier. Many of those camera images today, and I think the panel again touched on, it was a very good panel, touched upon the point that that's a big opportunity right there for everybody, is to get somehow get the images off the cameras and onto prints, whether they're ink-based or silver halide-based. And this trend will only accelerate with the advancement of smartphones and tablet purchases. One last thing. Our current customers and future customers have grown up really where screens are good enough and can tell the stories they want to tell, utilizing photo and video. They are a group that have always embraced devices, social networks. They've had entertainment options on demand instead of the four networks that we grew up with, and socialize in cyberspace more than the physical space, and prefer it that way. They influence their parents' decisions, and they have credit cards available to use. And if you listen, let me just go through. If you listen to what Kathy Savin has to say about Generation Z, and that's the 12 to 20-year-old, that's frankly, it's going to be your next customer. Generation Z is the most disruptive generation in modern history. Instead of waiting for ideas to filter through the generations that came before, Generation Zers are tastemakers, often before they're out of elementary school. Social media has demolished all barriers to communicating about brands and products. If you can write, you can share, and Generation Z is all about sharing. It's got its pluses and minuses. And she wrote 3 common traits of this demographic. 1, they are not brand loyal. Companies that expect Generation Z to be loyal based on a carefully crafted brand image and marketing message will find that their efforts are wasted. Generation Z doesn't buy it. Instead, They basically buy what they want and have no loyalty at all. They tend to be curators. With the mass adoption of the iPods Generation Y, reduce the currency of music from the album down to the song. Generation Z is doing the same thing with every other purchasing decision. The result, what you see them wearing, watching, and reading is their own curated version of the world. And they're enablers. And this is, again, has its pluses and minuses. What Generation Z cares about is finding and sharing the best stuff in the world. They aren't consumers, they are curators. They not only discover brands and products, but they evaluate them with brilliant objectivity, sift through them, and share the results. Please a Generation Zer and your particular product or service, and you'll earn your biggest supporter. And by the way, most of Generation Z can't even drive a car. So. And I'd like to wrap up with this. You know, eventually, photo books will plateau. It's a long time away, I hope, but they will, like everything else. And we will be looking for that next great opportunity product. This time, probably to an audience that may or may not view output as we know it today as a viable keeper of memories. That is why conferences like Six Sight are so important now more than ever, to help us start thinking about the products that, at the end of the day, produce sustainable revenue. So, thank you.